What kind of stuff?
Explain to our audience what this means, because, I mean, this is a serious thing. They are tracking phone calls. They were tracking a phone call of, I guess, Kislyak, and you're not supposed to.
I'll tell you what it means. Very simple. So even before I got elected, you remember the famous The Two Lovers, right? Strzok and Page, the insurance policy. She's going to win, but just in case she does it, we have an insurance policy. That means that if I won, they're going to try and take me out. That's all it means. Very simple. It's an insurance policy. So she's going to win. Isn't she, darling? Isn't she going to win? I watched Chuck Todd this weekend, what he did to a beautiful sentence made by our great Attorney General, and he cut it in half, and then he complained that Bill Barr didn't say the other half of the sentence, and he said the exact same words that Chuck Todd used. These are corrupt people. These are people that shouldn't be allowed to be on television. Because, you know, when I say the enemy of the people, that's the enemy of the people. That's corrupt, okay? That's corrupt. But this was a terrible, terrible thing that happened to our country. It was they tried to overthrow a duly elected, forget about me, a duly elected president of the United States. They tried to do an overthrow with fiction by making up stories about Russia. Now it's all come out that actually they wanted Hillary Clinton. You saw that one came out yesterday. They wanted Hillary Clinton to win. Nobody's been tougher on, I mean, you can speak to Putin or anybody else. Nobody has been tougher on Russia than I have. Well, they wanted Hillary Clinton to win.
General Flynn was exonerated, we all know, because of the setup notes, and now Judge Sullivan is delaying it. Paul Manafort is now, I guess, spending the rest of his term at home?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, they went after Manafort using, you know, the big black book on Manafort? Turned out to be a fraud. They found that out recently. The black book where they said he got money, he got cash, he got all, turned out to be a fraud. The Ukraine said that. All of these things that they did, they were setups. And I have great respect for these people because look at Roger Stone. Look at the horrible treatment he's got. He's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. He got treated. He wasn't even on my campaign. It was the greatest political crime in the history of our country. If I were a Democrat instead of a Republican, I think everybody would have been in jail a long time ago, and I'm talking with 50-year sentences. It is a disgrace what's happened. This is the greatest political scam, hoax in the history of our country.
Well, it is the biggest
and people should be going to jail for this stuff, and hopefully a lot of people are going to have to pay. No other president should have to go through. And I'll tell you, General Flynn and others are heroes because what's happened to them, they weren't after General Flynn. They wanted him to lie about me, make up a story. And with few exceptions, nobody did that. There were many people. I watched K.T. McFarland the other day. I watched where she was knock, knock, FBI, you know, the FBI, okay? This was all Obama. This was all Biden. These people were corrupt. The whole thing was corrupt, and we caught them. We caught them.
The FBI said that they started the Crossfire Hurricane in July of 2016, but we know that there were informants running into your campaign associates as early as January, February of 2016. They would be Stefan Halper, Joseph Mifsud, Alexander Downer. Who organizes that? Would that come out of the CIA? I know that Stefan Halper made $1 million. I don't know what he was paid that $1 million for, but
they got paid a fortune. These guys got paid
just for running into your campaign.
Think of it, government money. They were interviewed. I don't know Papadopoulos. I never met even Carter Page. I never met this man, but they went after Carter Page because they thought he was a person in the campaign. I think he was on a committee, but I never met him. But they went after these people viciously, all because they wanted to hurt the President of the United States. They figure they'll either hurt him or they'll take him out. That would be the ideal. Comey is a corrupt person, but let me tell you, Brennan bad, they're all bad. Everyone, Clapper is, not smart guy in charge of intelligence. But here's the thing. It was impossible for it to happen without the man that sits right in that chair in the Oval Office. He knew everything.
Do you believe President Obama directed the U.S. intelligence agencies to spy on you?
Yes, he probably directed them, but if he didn't direct them, he knew everything.
Once they couldn't find collusion evidence.
You're going to see that when the papers came out. Remember the Lisa Page text to her lover saying POTUS wants to see everything? POTUS. They're not talking about me. I wasn't president. They're talking about POTUS
wants to see everything. Well, there was a meeting on January 5th in the Oval Office. President Obama was there. Vice President Biden was there. Clapper, Brennan. And that's when the Logan Act came up. So should we believe that they were looking for collusion evidence? They couldn't find the collusion evidence. There was none. So they said, let's just use the Logan Act to take it down.
First of all, they snuck around White House counsel. They went to see a very unsuspecting General Flynn. Yeah, he's a general. He's not a lawyer. They said, you don't need a lawyer. And they started asking him questions. And they probably brought up the Logan Act. And they probably scared the hell out of him. But let me tell you a little secret. They go knock, and ask K.T. McFarland the way they knocked on the door, and many other people. With Mueller, that whole thing turned out to be a total fraud. The whole Mueller investigation's a fraud. It was all part of the same deal. But what they did to General Flynn and others, we know about General Flynn. You'll find out about others, too. What they did to these people is a international disgrace. And all over the world they talk about it, because this is not America. And hopefully the people involved are going to pay a big price, because it should never be allowed to happen again.